100 watt per body. You realise that? You've got 238 people here. There's 23,000 watts in this room.
Okay.
This is not
Do you know that? No, we don't know that.
Two things. Who is the first time here? Right, quite a few. Please come back. There's a leaflet there. After the summer recess, we have, starting on September 1, which is not advertised, but he's coming, is Barry Humphries. And then on the 6th of September, we've got the Battle of the Noodles. We've got A.A. and Locatelli on one side, and me and Ken Hom on the other, to tell the Italians that it was we Chinese who introduced noodles to the West. But of course, they will think it was Marco Polo food, and I never even went to China. Anyway, I'm going to have a conversation with Michael for about 20 minutes, and he can say anything he wants. He doesn't have to say anything he doesn't want. And then the main point is to let you, the audience, to interact with our star speaker, who is, I describe as someone always who has led an extraordinary life. And I think Michael Caine has led an extraordinary life. And you can ask him questions. The only proviso is that they've got to be intelligent. If they're a stupid question, you'll be sent out.
The answer is not necessarily intelligent.
And don't say something stupid like, or boring like, you know, what inspired you into acting. That sort of question. Michael, you said once, I only do what people do. I never went to a drama school. My acting lessons was watching people on the tube and on the buses. It's body language. Is that what you think actors actually should do?
I think it's very important for cinema, not for theatre. I mean, in theatre, you've got to be very, very big. You know, I mean, the first thing the guy ever said to me in the theatre, he said, you've got to speak up. He said, because the people right at the back of the balcony have paid money to see you and listen to what you say.
But not as much as people in front.
Eh?
Not as much as people.
No, but the people in the front can hear you better. You know, if you pay a little bit, you have to lean forward right here. But the point is that I was a stage actor for years, but it's entirely different in movies, because movie, you're right with the camera in a movie, the camera will pick up the flutter of eyelashes, let alone, you know, your voice at 200 yards. So you're playing real people. I've always said that if two people are sitting in a cinema and watching me in a movie, and one of them says to the other one, isn't that Michael Caine a good actor, then I fail. Because they should be saying, what's Charlie going to do next? You know?
Yes. And I mean, talking about stage acting, you appeared in, you have a very special relationship with Harold Pinter, because you appeared in...
appeared in his first play.
And the last one.
And the last writing. Yes. What he did was, he wrote, he was an actor called David Barron, and he and I were out-of-work actors together. And then one day he said, I'm going to give up acting, I'm going to write. He said, but I'm going to write my real name. I said, what's your real name, David? He said, Harold Pinter. So I thought, oh, that will leave him out there. And then he wrote this play, a one-act play. What was it called? I did it with his wife. We did it at the Royal Court. And it was very funny. And that was the first play he ever wrote. And then the last thing he ever wrote was a screenplay, a remake of Sleuth that I did with Jude Law. And he rewrote that script. And that was, so I accidentally, I never did any of his work in between. But, you know, it was great to just know him anyway.
But going back to acting, where you say that you just watch people. So in the cinema, you practice your craft by just watching how people behave.
Well, the thing about it is in the cinema, you're watching, you're standing there talking to a real person, and you're a real person, and they say something, and you answer it. So the thing is, it's a very strange thing, because the better you are, the less an actor you see. You know, you see people getting Academy Awards for these great performances, which were acting performances. You never believe they were the person in the first place. You just say, well, you know. But the problem is, that the better you are, you disappear. Because they say, oh, he's just playing himself. I've had so many reviews playing myself, you know, I've played all sorts of people. I've never played myself in a movie once. I've never played a movie star.
Well, you might. I remember, I think, when you played an officer in Zulu, you decided that the best thing to do was to behave like the Duke of Edinburgh and just put your two hands behind your back.
That's right, yeah.
And look like an officer.
Yeah, but the thing about it is, I mean, the very first principle of acting in films is that the poorer and less powerful you are, the faster you speak, and the more movements you make with your hands. As you go up higher and higher in power, the slower you speak, and the less you move your hand, because obviously you're trying to get attention if you're or if you're very powerful. Someone's listening to you the whole time. And so I played this officer in Zulu, and I was looking for a person of power to see how they acted, and I stepped on Prince Philip. And he always walked with his hand behind his back. And I did this movie, Stanley Baker was the star and the producer. And I walked around this office with my hands behind my back, and after about 2 weeks we got a telegram from Paramount in Hollywood saying, fire actor playing Lieutenant Bromhead doesn't know what to do with hands.
But who had the wisdom not to sack you?
But,
Or who had the wisdom not to sack you? When Paramount said fire.
no, Stanley Baker said, I made the decision. No, but they're very funny in Hollywood studios. I remember when I played a character called Harry Palmer in a movie called The Icarus File, and I wore glasses in it. And the reason I wore glasses was one of my best friends was Sean Connery, and he was James Bond, and he was worried about getting away from the character when they stopped making it. So I thought, if this is a successful series, it was supposed to be a long series, but it wasn't. But I'll wear the glasses, and when I take them off, I won't be Harry Palmer anymore. So I wore the glasses, and then there's a scene where I try to seduce the leading lady by cooking her a meal. And then again, we got a telegram from Hollywood, which said, leading actor looks gay. He's wearing glasses. And I thought, I don't know. Most of the chefs I know are quite butch. You know, and is it only gay people who wear glasses?
I think most of the cooks nowadays.
No, but when I finished it, I had a 7-year contract with Joe Levine. Joe Levine produced Zulu. He was a big American producer. And he produced Zulu, and it was a big success for me and everything, you know, so it got me started on my way. And he called me into his office. He said, Michael, he said, you know I love you, don't you? I said, yeah, I know that. Don't worry, I love you. I said, yeah. He said, but I've got some bad news for you. I said, what's that? He said, I'm taking your contract away. I said, well, what did I do? I haven't done another performance, I haven't done anything. No, he said, we've all decided in Zulu you look gay. He said, you're very sort of, I was very tall and slim and blonde and everything, and I was terribly like that and everything. All these Americans, I think he's a little bit gay, you know. And so they took it away. And the next movie I made was Alfie.
But the director...
Well, I'll tell you a funny thing. I had a wardrobe guy who was gay, and we were working on a movie. We were working on a movie, and there was this married actor, you know, with a couple of kids, very butch, but he was kind of suspicious. So when he'd gone, one evening I said to Roy at my dress, I said, do you think he's gay? He said, well, no, so I don't think so. And then he said, mind you, he said, I think he'd help out if they were busy.
By the way, I remember the name of the play by Harold Pinter in which you appeared as first play was called The Room.
The Room, that's it, The Room, and there was another play which was even funnier, which was The Dumb Waiter. Yeah. The Dumb Waiter was 2 gangsters sitting in the basement of an unused restaurant. And they were there to kill someone who was going to come in. And in actual fact, it was one of them was there to kill the other.
They gave it away.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we didn't. I always remember in that play the dumb waiter came down with an order on it. It was an empty restaurant. And he said, what is it? He said, it's scrambled eggs and chips. So he said, what are we going to do? He said, we better set something up. So he said, I've got a ham roll. So he sat down. And the other one says, you only got one ham roll? He said, yeah. He said, you didn't bring one with me, and then there's a fight, you know. It's so Harold Pinter, you know, I love Harold.
But you talked about two gangsters. One of the most amusing films that we all enjoyed was the Scandal. What's the name of the film? About you and as two con men in the South.
Dirty Run Scandal.
Dirty Scandal. What?
Dirty Run Scandal.
Why wasn't there a second?
Because the company went bankrupt. They made a fortune, but how the hell they went bankrupt, I don't know. What we were going, what the plot was, Steve Martin, who wrote a lot of it, he had a plot where we were trying to sell a racehorse in Venice. Just think about it, okay.
But anyway, when you were starting, you had lots of friends. I mean, in the 50s and the 60s, you were seeking work, and you usually go off to the pub and you saw your friends and so forth. And you once said that everybody you met in the 60s became very famous.
Oh yeah?
Johnny Gold.
Everybody became famous for something, for some reason. You know, I knew a painter, his name was David Hockney. I shared a flat with an actor, his name was Terence Stamp. One of my friends was an actor who gave it up, apart from Harold Pinter. He was an actor, and he gave it up, in John Osborne. Even Terry Stamp's brother. Now, Terry Stamp's brother came up for the weekend from the East End. He's a little Cockney lad. He's about 21 years old. And he came up, he wanted to go out to disco and all that, you know, get fun and all that stuff. And I was sitting talking with him, and I said, what are you going to do with your life, Chris? I mean, he was a poorly educated Cockney kid. He said, I've got to be a rock and roll manager. So I said, oh really, Chris? I said, how are you going to go about it? Oh, said, we've already started, he said. He said, me and my mate, he said, we were in a pub yesterday, and we've signed a group. I said, oh yeah, really? I said, what's it called? He said, The Who. He died a millionaire in Los Angeles about a year ago.
But at the time when he said The Who, you said, wow, that's a great name. Huh?
Yeah.
You were rather skeptical.
Oh yeah, The Who, yeah. I nearly said The What? He said that.
Like Condoleezza Rice, who asked, when asked by George Bush the name of the Chinese president, and she said, who? The president who?
Yes.
Who? Who? He said, I asked you the name of the president.
Yeah.
Exactly. But listen, the other thing is that you have said you have never done drugs because you don't.
I did one night. I smoked marijuana. I smoked marijuana. I never smoked marijuana. I was a vodka man, you know. I didn't do drugs, you know. Not my generation. We were alcoholics. Well, based on the fact it took 25 years to kill you, as opposed to drugs which you do it overnight. You know? And I smoked pot, and I started to laugh, and it relaxed me so much, you know. I did some tenses. And I laughed for 5 hours. And I was at a party in Grosvenor Square, given by Richard Harris. He gave me the drugs, Richard. And I came out, and I was living in Notting Hill Gate. And I was trying to get a taxi, all on my own, roaring with laughter. And of course, no cab would stop for this, no place. And so I had to walk home from Grosvenor Square to Notting Hill Gate at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I thought, I'm never going to do drugs again, and I never did.
But you also said because drugs are self-destructive, and you don't do it because other people have been trying to destroy you. So you've got to be on the lookout. So you want to be.
Yeah, I've got enough people trying to destroy me in those days, so I'm not going to do it myself and help them out.
But drinking, you even stopped that when you met your wife.
Yeah, I did, yeah. Well, I didn't stop it, I cut it right down. I mean, no,
Why did you cut it right down? She didn't say to you to stop drinking.
No, she didn't. I just saw a whole new, she's sitting over here, by the way, with my daughter.
42 years of marriage.
Yeah, we've been married 42 years, yeah. And as Groucho Marx said, it seems just like yesterday. You know what a bloody awful day yesterday was.
But since...
That's not true, guys. I don't want to get in trouble when I get home.
Because you say that because of Sakura, you want to be with her, conscious every day of your life, and you're very happy, there's no one getting drunk. That's how...
No, we didn't. I didn't go out to discos and all that. I wouldn't all my mates running around discos and getting bummed out of our minds. But when I met Shakira, it was a whole different thing.
I drink wine.
Pardon?
You drink wine.
I do drink wine. Yeah, I drink red wine. Yeah.
Good red wine.
Good, very good.
What's your favourite?
Yeah. Me?
Yes.
Actual fact, I drink a great deal of Australian wine. Any Bordeaux would do me, it's all right.
More expensive than
Mouton Rothschild,
Robin Burley's hosting your dinner tonight, so take note. Anyway.
Mouton Rothschild, Robbie.
Talking about something else, about temper, you once said that we all get a bit of a nasty bit in ourselves and so forth, and you have a temper, but you say you never lose it, and you haven't lost it for a while. How do you manage to restrain yourself?
I was on a movie called The Last Valley, and I had to ride a horse. And we were in Austria, and I'm not a good rider by any means. And they stuck me on this horse as a joke. It was called Tiger. They didn't tell me that. Well, they might have told me in German, but I didn't know what Tiger was. And this horse ran away with me for 3 months. And I came back, and I really raged at the crew and everything. And there was the director was a great writer called James Clavell. James had been taken prisoner when he was 14 in Singapore by the Japanese. And he survived. And he said to me, he said to the crew, okay, take a break for a couple of hours. He said, Michael, come and have a cup of tea. And I really had lost, absolutely apeshit. I had the worst temper you've ever seen. And he took me and we had a cup of tea. He said, Michael, I sort of grew up amongst the Japanese. I was a prisoner for all my teenagers, he said. And the one thing that they taught me was about your emotions. He said, losing your temper is a very, very personal thing. And you should only do it with people you love. He said, never do it with strangers, because they can see into you and you open yourself up. And I never lost my temper again, except with security up there. No, I've always kept my temper, because it is terrible.
But do you feel it surging up at moments?
No, I'm a very calm person.
But because you are very happy.
Yeah, I'm happy. So I have 3 grandchildren now, and so they're, you know, and I always people parents going on about their grandchildren used to pull the pants off of me. And I've tried not to be like that.
But you are.
But I am, yeah. But I saw a wonderful phrase about being a grandparent. It said, grandchildren fill a space in your heart that you didn't know was empty. And that's exactly what they do.
Very philosophical, a very dumb audience, because they're all obviously thinking.
My grandchildren's mother is sitting like that.
And that's all you want to do. I mean, I asked you where you're going on holiday. You said you don't want to go on holiday, you just want to stay at home.
Yeah, well, my life, they said, we're going on holiday, I said, I'm going home.
Yeah, exactly. Look, listen, as there are so many of you, I want to extend the hour of Q&A. So let's have some intelligent question. Who likes to volunteer?
Yeah.
There's a microphone, but I can speak without the microphone. You've had a very successful career after coming from a modest background in South London.
What do you think the modern trend for Britain's most successful actors to come from a posh background? And also, which posh actor would you like to see playing James Bond? And did you ever apply to be James Bond?
Can I write all this down?
Really?
Let's go back to the last thing I remember is James Bond. I think Idris would be great. Have a black James Bond. Yeah. But also, what's his name? Night manager, Hiddleston. Can't be Hiddleston. I'm very much for Tom because I made a film years ago in which Tom played me as a young man. So I think we make a great James Bond. There's a picture called The Last Orders about a load of people in a pub. Bob Hoskins, Helen Mirren was my wife. Bob Hoskins was my neighbour. It was a load of Cockney actors. Ray Winston.
The question was, were you ever approached for being James Bond?
Me?
Yes.
No.
Why did you? Do you wish that you had been?
No. I was very happy the way things turned out.
Roger Moore, who is a great friend of yours, what has he got to tell you about being James Bond? Any funny story, any remarks that stayed in your mind about this?
No, I can't think of anything funny that Roger ever said. The problem is he never says anything that isn't funny, so you don't remember it. You know, it's not like a joke. Everything Roger says is funny.
The first part of the question was posh accents.
What was the question?
Whether posh people should...
There's a trend today for our most successful actors to come from a posh background, like Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah.
Which is in contrast to your modest backgrounds in South London.
Yeah. But it's gone another circle, you know. In my day, you wouldn't dare call yourself Cumberbatch, either. I changed my name from Micklewhite to Caine. People always said to me, my name is Morris.
Tell us the story why you chose Caine.
I chose Caine, yeah. I was in repertory and I didn't want to be called Morris Micklewhite because it's a long thing to sign if we ever became famous. and so I called myself Michael White. So I was in repertory for a long time, and every evening when I came back to London, I eventually came back to London and tried to get work. I phoned my agent, I had a little agent. I phoned as if there was a job, you know, a couple of days, and I was called Michael White. And then she said to me, one evening, she said, I've got you a job on Dixon and Dock Green, which is a very famous TV series in that time with an actor called Jack Warner. So I've got you 3 days, I think, was it, on that. So you can't call yourself Michael White because you've got to join Equity, the Actors Trade Union. And there is already another member called Michael White. So give me another name. So, and I was on the telephone in Leicester Square, in the telephone booth in Leicester Square, and I was opposite the Odeon. And I looked up, and my favourite actor is Humphrey Bogart. And there he was, and said, the Caine Mutiny. So I said, Caine, Michael Caine. She said, how do you spell it? I went, C-A-I-N-E. And that's how I got my name.
Yeah, but then your other famous remark as to what you might have called it if there had been a...
Because if I'd have gone to the other cinema, I'd have called Michael 101 Dalmatians.
All right, let's have another question. All right, this man with a funny beard.
Can you think of a really good practical joke or prank that you played on set to somebody or was done to you?
Oh no, I never played practical jokes. No, I'm terribly dull in that area. I never play practical jokes on people, in case they play them on me.
Does anybody play one on you?
No, I'm not the sort of person who play practical jokes.
Oh, that's extraordinary. Okay. Yeah.
You were in Dark Knight Returns, amazing.
Okay.
You were in Dark Knight Returns, amazing film, and myself and my friends here are massive fans. There's a rumour that when Heath Ledger came out in his full Joker makeup, you were so shocked that you forgot your lines.
Where was this?
Dark Knight Returns with Heath Ledger.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because no, what it was, with Heath to do having dinners and all that, and then I had a scene with him, and he came down in the lift, and I'd never seen him. And he comes in and it ruins the party. We're having a party, and I'm the butler, and it was completely stunning because the way he came in and the way he was acting, the performance was incredible. I stood there completely aghast. And I had the next line, I forgot the bloody thing. But I didn't get into trouble.
Yeah, go on.
Sir Michael, thank you very much. It's a real pleasure to see you and hear you in the flesh after having enjoyed your films for many decades. I also particularly enjoyed your autobiography, which I heard, I think about 20 years ago. And there were some great lines from that, particularly about performing, where you advised once that rehearsal is the work and the performance is the pleasure.
Oh yeah. There was one line. When I was a very young actor, I was rehearsing. I was in repertory in provinces for 9 years. That's where I learned to act. We were rehearsing, and accidentally this producer gave me the basic line of all movie acting. I came on and I was playing the drunk, right? So I'm drunk, and then suddenly he goes, "Michael, stop! What are you doing?" I said, I'm drunk in this scene. He said, "Well, but what are you doing?" I said, "Well, I'm playing the drunk, sir." He said, "No, you're not." I said, what do you mean?" He said, "A drunk is a man who is trying to speak clearly and walk straight. You are an actor who is trying to speak slurred and walk crooked." And that's the basis of all movie acting. In one sentence.
Then what do you do? Eh? Then?
I got pissed.
Next question. Yeah, go on. Chinese first.
Yeah, that's right.
Chinese first, yeah.
I am a journalist from China's Xinhua News Agency. My question is, you actually served in the army during the Korean War.
Yes.
How that part of your life helped to shape your career and life later on? Thank you.
There were two moments in my life which made me a man. One, when I was 6 years old, my father went off to the war in 1939. And my brother, who was 3, and I was standing there, and my father left, and my mother, instead of crying and saying, "What am I going to do now? I'm left on my own with you two," she looked at us and she said, "Now, your father's gone, you've got to take care of me." And we both said, "Don't worry, Mum, you'll be all right." I'm 6 and Stanley was 3. And she made little men of us with one sentence. And then there came another time, when I was 19 years old, I was in Korea, and the Korean War was fought like the First World War, in trench warfare. And the scariest part was, of course, going into no man's land at night to find out if anyone was there. We went out, there were 4 of us, an officer, a radio operator, and 2 gunmen, me and another guy. And we found ourselves surrounded. And we knew we were going to die. And we also, what do we do? And we had a little discussion. And it came out, and we all said to each other, we are going to make this the most expensive death that we can possibly do it. if anyone's going to do something to us, they are going to pay as dear as we can. And we waited. And what happened? The officer said, let's walk back to their line. They may not come round that way. And we walked back to their line, right back, right round the outside of them, right back for miles, right back, and we got back safe. And from then on, I knew that one of the things when you're a young man and you're in a situation like that is, are you a coward? And the four of us knew that we weren't cowards, so we were fine. And those 2 points made were the two most remarkable points for me in my life as to who and what I was going to be, from my mother and from the Korean War.
You think that people...
I'm sorry there were no laughs there.
And you think that it's not a bad idea for there to be a draft? I mean, people join...
Oh no, I think there should be national service. I don't think you should be sent off to fight and kill people or anything like that. But I think you should just... There's a thing of when you train to protect your country, then you really belong in it. You know, you are a different sort of person. And when I noticed that they stopped the national service about 2 years after I'd done it, typical, they couldn't have done it 2 years before. And then I noticed all the young men were wearing military caps and uniforms and camouflage, and I thought, oh my God, you know. But I thought it was terribly important because it made men of us all in a very short time.
And a sense of discipline. Discipline.
Incredible sense of discipline, yeah. They're young, youth. He's
the son of, stepson of Wilbur Smith, you know, the author.
I know who Wilbur Smith is.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your time. An honor to be in this room. You're sitting with Sir David Tang. If you had an opportunity to interview yourself, what question would you ask?
What question would I ask myself is, how much money do you think you can make out what you're going to do? And more.
Honest answer.
Yeah, okay. Well, whoever's got the mic.
I've got mine.
Oh, yeah,
Good evening. You've travelled all over the world, Sir Michael Caine. When you're away from your hometown, what is it that you miss the most?
The rain. I remember I lived in Los Angeles. I lived in Los Angeles for 10 years, and I finally came home. And what it was the seasons. I missed the seasons. You know, it was just sunshine every day. I remember this American comedian from New England, and he said he went to Hollywood. He said, and he met these people. He said, "It's a lovely day, isn't it?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Beautiful day." He said, "It was lovely yesterday." When he said, "Beautiful." It's going to be a great day tomorrow. But yeah, he said, "The sun shines all the time here, you know." He said, and then he said, I said, "What are you, a fucking lizard?" Sorry. I apologise.
You don't have to apologise. We love it. Okay, yeah, go on, you got the microphone.
Oh, hi there, Michael. It's an honour to see you. You were a bit of an icon in my house growing up. So my dad's a Cockney and gave me your biography, What's It All About, when I was quite young. And so I just wanted to ask you, like, how has your experience really, having lived a life being fame, like, how have you found fame? Have you found it invasive, or have you been able to embrace it? How's this kind of, what's that experience been like for you?
I found fame very easily because I never took it seriously. You know, people say to me, I go on the set, they say, "How do we address you? You're Sir Michael Caine." I say, "Just call me Michael, everybody, just call me Michael." And I like to keep everything absolutely, socially, I'm a communist. But believe me, that's the only place I am one. But socially, everybody is equal to me. I don't care who they are, everyone's exactly the same. And so I go through life like that. I don't treat anybody any differently, you know, right through the Queen, right down to my wife. No, I treat you better than the Queen. Yeah. I treat her better than I treat you.
But you once said that powerful people, they don't make gestures. So when you're standing
No,
next
that's
to
the
the
point.
Queen,
That's the point. They don't have to attract your attention, and so that's just the basis of acting. Is that the lower class you are, the faster you talk because no one's listening, and you make gestures to get it, you know. And if you're very, very powerful, you just sit there like this and speak very, very slowly. Occasionally you'll say thank you. Copy, you.
when you were knighted by the Queen, what did she say to you as Sir Michael?
She said to me, I have a feeling that you've been doing what you do for a very long time. And I very nearly said, and so have you. I thought you would have shut your big mouth, Michael. And you wind up in the tower instead of getting a bloody knight. But when you get knighthood, you have an officer, there's a guards officer, personal guards. My one was a captain, and he took me through everything, and what I'm supposed to do, where I'm supposed to be, and all that. And he said, there'll come a time when you're with the Queen that she will shake your hand, and from that moment on, you are finished. You will turn to your right and walk away. The handshake is the end. I remember that the handshake is the end. And when the Queen shakes your hand, she goes like that. She gives it a little push. So you know. That's the end. I still had the knight.
But you were knighted as Sir Michael.
I was knighted because as Maurice Micklewhite, because I was named after my father.
So what happens when you go on holiday and you produce a passport and the man
There's
is
not
looking
Michael
at
Caine
you?
on it now.
Oh, is it?
Oh no, I changed my name when all this stuff started, you know, with the ISIS and all that. I said Michael Caine, and suddenly I get a guy with a passport with a different name on it, and I'm standing there for an hour, you know. So I changed my name, and it's by the memory of my father.
But did anybody question you? I mean, did anybody not recognize you and say, why have you got a completely different passport from your name?
Well, I decided to name it after my father.
That's good. Hi, yes, Michael. Massive fan of your work. I was just wondering if, from all the variety of characters you've played over the years, is there any particular character that's a special one to you? Like you're fond of, or that means something to you?
Yeah, I like the guy in Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. I really, because that was one of my favourite films I ever did, because the south of France is one of my favourite places, and it was in the summer. And they rented a villa for me between two of my closest friends, which is Roger Moore and Leslie Briggis, the composer. And I had this incredible summer in the south of France, making a movie and getting paid loads of money. And it was the time the women started going topless on the beach. And me and Steve Martin had best bets of best boobs of the day. we had $1 on best boobs of the day. He won more than I did. I don't know why that is. Anyway, we'll go further with that.
Just very briefly, maybe taking on a different tack, Sir Michael. I wondered between yourself and Harold Pinter, who loved cricket more.
Oh, yeah, we're both great cricket fans. I adore cricket. But I never try to explain it to Americans. You cannot explain cricket to an American. They have no idea what it is. But I did tell them that you play baseball, which in England was a girls' game called rounders. And you play basketball, which in England was a girls' game called netball. So don't start on me about cricket.
Do you play cricket?
I did when I was young, yeah. I don't
You're
play.
a bowler or you're a fielder?
I'm the wicket keeper. The wicket keeper, yeah.
Yeah. Whoever's got the microphone.
I have one here.
No,
Okay, go on. Michael. I got married the same year as you, 1973. And I put down our longevity to having common interests and very diverse interests as well. What do you put yours down to?
Longevity, giving up smoking for a start. I used to smoke a lot.
You used to smoke 80 cigarettes a day.
Yeah. Then I smoked cigars. It was a movie club star called Tony Curtis. You remember Tony Curtis? Yeah. Well, he saved my life.
He's still around.
No, he didn't. Yeah. Well, I hope he's not still around. But I was at a party and I was smoking. And I didn't know Tony Curtis. I knew who he was. He's a very famous movie star standing over there. And I was smoking, and it was winter. There was a fire. It was someplace in Mayfair. And I took one cigarette out, a new cigarette out, and lit the old one and threw it, and then stood there smoking. I was chain smoking, and I was standing there, and suddenly I felt a hand from behind come round. He took my cigarettes out of my pocket and threw it in the fire. And I turned around, and it was Tony Curtis. He said, "You're going to die, Michael." He said, "You've only just started your career and you're killing yourself." And I said, "Thank you." And I gave up cigarettes. And I always figured he saved my life, Tony Curtis. But what happened to him was 2 weeks later, he was caught by marijuana, with marijuana back in London. I didn't tell him to give that up.
So Michael, you're obviously an inspiration to all young actors nowadays. Was there an actor when you were coming through that inspired you, that you met and he helped you?
Well, Humphrey Bogart on the screen was a guy, because he played sort of working class people. The thing was that in my area, the Elephant Castle, we never watched British movies very much because there was no one that we saw on the screen. You know, it was Anna Neagle and Michael Wilding being romantic in Mayfair, you know, a gang of cockney lads at the Elephant Castle. So we watched American movies, because the Americans, for instance, war films. The British made war films about officers. The Americans made them about private soldiers. So we always watched those films. But Humphrey Bogart was my favourite actor. And then eventually Marlon Brando. Marlon, I thought, was a wonderful actor.
Did you ever get to meet them? Did you ever get to meet them?
Oh yeah, I knew him, but he was kind of strange when you met him. Yeah, very different from
Bogart?
Bogart. No, I never met Bogart. He died. I had some favourite actors. I got to Hollywood, and just before I got there, Bogart died, Spencer Tracy died. But there's a lot of them. My idol was Frank Sinatra, and I became a great friend of his. So that was fantastic.
What was the first thing you said to Frank Sinatra when you met him?
I forget. It was a long time ago.
Was he entertaining?
Eh?
Was he entertaining?
Who, Sinatra? Yeah. Well, you laughed at anything he said, otherwise the Matthew would get I'm not serious about that. No, Frank was a wonderful guy, and I loved him dearly. And
you were in a film with Mia Farrow, his wife. Were they divorced, by the way?
No, Mia Farrow, yeah, I wasn't in a film with Mia Farrow. But what he did was he had a great old friend who was a big old producer from the old days, and myself. We both knew Mia Farrow before he did, and we were watching out for her while he was away on tour. We used to watch out for her. Actually, I introduced Mia to Woody. Yeah.
You regret it?
But she forgave me.
Right there. Right, at the back there. Go on.
Michael, I saw you on the Jonathan Ross show, and they mentioned about you possibly retiring after one more film. I was just wondering, are you going to retire anytime soon, or are you going to carry on making films while ascendant young?
Me making films?
Yes.
Yeah, what I'm doing at the moment, or I'm going to do at the moment, is a little film for my grandchildren called 4 Kids and It. It is a monster, and I played a monster because I have my 3 grandchildren, and I don't make any films that they can go and see. I made a film for their mother, who's sitting there when she was a little girl, and I made a Muppet film for her, and I'm going to make 4 Kids and It for them. But then there are now scripts going around for the Hatton Garden robbery. I've got 2 so far, there's another one to come.
But you only got 3 grandchildren, so why 4 kids? Not 3 kids.
Well, I'm not making a movie. Because I'd have had 3 kids in it, but they've got 4 kids in it.
Sir Michael, I'm a very big fan of your early movies, things like The Icarus File, Get Carter, The Italian Job. 2 of those have been remade. What do you think about the remakes?
Well, the remake of The Italian Job, the star really of it was Charlize Theron. You know, it was a woman, and that came out like that. Jude Law remade Alfie. The last line of Alfie is, "What's it all about?" That's the last line. The guy was a primitive innocent. The minute you saw Jude, who I love dearly, and I think is a wonderful actor, you thought this guy knows what everything is all about, so you didn't believe that he didn't know. Jude, by the way, was the best Hamlet I've ever seen.
You were in Alfred as well, weren't you? Or was it Sleuth that you were in, or Jude?
What we did was Jude and I made a remake of Sleuth.
Yes.
Yeah,
After you had dinner with it?
Yeah. But when I made the first Sleuth, I made it with Laurence Olivier. And here's a little story about it. The class system. Larry, Sir Lawrence was Lord Olivier, I think he was. And 2 weeks before we started rehearsal, he wrote me a letter saying, it's occurred to me that you may be wondering how to address me when we meet. And he said, from the moment we shake hands, we will be Larry and Michael for the rest of our lives. So I always called him Larry. But I just thought of Jude Law. I made the picture. I played the Laurence Olivier part with Jude Law. And I thought, if I'd have sent him a telegram saying, hey, my name is Sir Michael Caine, you may be wondering how to address me. What would Jude say? I don't think I can repeat it here.
Did you ever get a letter from Sir Ben Kingsley? Did you ever get a letter from Sir Ben Kingsley? Because he's well known for wanting to be, he insisted.
Every time I meet Ben, I say to him, will you stop it, you know? He keeps saying, I'm a guy from Lancashire and I'm a knight. Everyone's going to call me Sir. I said, okay, Ben.
Okay.
Hello.
Hello.
I was wondering, Sleuth, the first Sleuth with Laurence Olivier and you, was one of my favorite films of all time. And I just wondered how you decided to choose the films that you do. Is there any, I mean, do you look for a certain sort of, you know, mischief in a character or something like that?
Yeah. The thing about me is I have no sense of competition as an actor. My competition is with myself. Is how I can be better than I was last time. And so the scripts are based on that, or unless there's a big tax bill, anything. You'll see all those flop films I made out of that.
Well, you're extremely well paid as in that Dark Knight or whatever it's called, that blockbuster.
Oh yeah. It was very funny. You know, it was quite weird. They gave me a percentage.
Is it rising still?
Only a tiny percentage, but those pictures made billions. It's quite, I mean, he is incredible as a director. Wonderful.
Hello, Sir Michael. This is great, thank you very much.
basically my family all married English people, I married an Italian. And there was a little bit of racism, this is going back a few years. Did you encounter that, beginning with your wife, or did any people fall away in friendship-wise, when you decided to marry?
No, I've never encountered anything with my wife. The only time I counted, I remember there was one, we lived in Windsor, my wife and I, and a man knocked at the door one night, and he said to me, "We've got a problem." I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "We've got Indians moving into the street." I said, "You're bloody lucky, I've got them in the house." I had two little stories. I had one occasion sort of racial hatred sort of thing, and I got these letters saying you're going to die, you're going to do, we're going to kill you, with all this marrying an Indian. And I had some friends at Scotland Yard, so I took the letters up with my mate and stuff. He said, "Oh," he said, "this is Charlie." I said, "Oh, yeah, it's Charlie, you want to meet him?" I said, "Yeah, I'd like to meet him, I'll smash his face in." He said, "No, you won't." And I met him, and he was a guy in a wheelchair. Just like that, I thought, oh. And the only time, I often wondered what my mother would think about me marrying an Indian woman. There was no prejudice at all, except one moment. Shakira and I had been in Los Angeles, and we just got back. It was a weekend, and I had my mother for lunch on a Saturday. And we were jet lagged to hell. But I managed to get up, in time to have lunch with my mum at 1 o'clock, and Shakira just kept on sleeping. About 2:30 at the end of lunch, she came down, and had a cup of tea. And then when she went in the kitchen, my mum said to me, "Indians sleep a lot, don't they?" That was the only prejudice thing she ever said.
Oh, whoever's got the mic, yeah, go on.
Hi, Michael. Paul Whitehouse and various other actors have done impressions of you. Which one do you think is really, really on the money? Have you met someone who really has been able to impersonate you?
The best impression I ever saw was Tom Hanks. He did it on Saturday Night Live. And then he was excellent, But they always say things like, "How many people know that?"
Yeah.
"My name is Michael Caine." People know that. And everybody laughs. Except you.
Can you do an impression of Michael Caine? Can you do an impression of yourself?
Eh?
Can you do an impression of yourself?
My name is Michael Caine. Not many people know that. You know where that came from, not many people know that. Peter Sellers. Peter always had the latest gadget, and he had the first telephone answering machine. And he was very good impersonator. He did a good impersonation of me. And his message to you on the answer machine is, "My name is Michael Caine." Not many people know that, but Peter Sellers is out. Please leave him. I just left a message from my daughter, and it said, "Leave a message or I'll blow your bloody doors." But a lot of people put it down, think they got the wrong number.
Well, whoever's got the
Sir Michael, I just wondered if you could reveal if there was any movies you turned down you now regret you had not turned down.
No, I made so many movies, I never turned anything down. I made all this crap and everything.
You know how many movies you've made?
147. Well, I've been in 147, you've got to remember, I was a small part actor for years, I did 2 days in a movie. I mean, I would make 30 pictures in a year, which you couldn't possibly do. But I've probably been in about 75 as a proper leading man, But what happened was that I was so late in getting started. I made my Zulu, I was 31 when I made Zulu. And And so I was amazed that anybody offered me another picture. So every time anybody offered me a picture, you know, I said, yeah, I'll do that. That's fantastic. Yeah, okay, I'll do it. And I did every picture anyone ever offered me. Until I sort of slowed down. But wait a minute, I'm going to do some good ones.
What love scene have you been involved with?
I've been involved.
We don't associate you too often. I mean, have
Don't
we met?
associate me with love scenes. No, I mean, we get Carter, I had a love scene.
Who was it?
I forget her name. And she was a middle-aged actress. And I was, it wasn't sort of romantic, I was going on about the colour of her knickers, which were purple.
But how is it? I mean, you were very handsome.
Yeah, no.
Why would
I tell you something, I've got a question recently saying, what was the greatest love scene you ever did? And I said it was in Batman when I said goodbye to him. So there. And he's got very small breasts.
Were there any actresses that you starred with that you wish that you had either an affair, off-screen, or...
But was she there? No, I
42 years ago.
They were all ugly and unattractive. You know? Elizabeth Taylor and all that. It's very weird being in bed with Elizabeth Taylor.
Were you in bed with Elizabeth Taylor?
Yeah. I did big love scene with Elizabeth Taylor. But we laughed all the way through it. Not on camera, of course. Not on camera. She was funny, Elizabeth.
Who's got the mic? Okay, go.
So Michael, you once said, all my education accomplishments and so-called wisdom, I can't fathom my own heart.
I'm sorry.
You once said, for all my education accomplishments and so-called wisdom, I can't fathom my own heart.
I didn't say that.
I just want to ask, is this
Who said I quoted? That wasn't a quote. I would never say that. I figured it out.
Don't trust the internet. Next to a very stupid question. Over here, nobody, all completely silent here. I mean, are you aware?
No, grab the mic with the mic.
Grab the mic. But you've asked a question before.
He asked 3 questions, I didn't answer all of them. What was the other one?
Yeah, he's greedy as well. Let's get this man with a funny haircut.
Yeah, thanks for that.
I like your haircut.
So Michael, just wondering, given your long career, one years been at it, go back in time and speak to your younger self. What advice would you give yourself?
What advice
would you give yourself to a young Michael Caine?
To a young Michael Caine? Well, that's a hard one, that one is, yeah. Yeah. I remember my motto, which I would give, I remember now my motto, Winston Churchill. And Winston Churchill said something which struck me personally when I was really down on my luck in little theatre. And Winston Churchill said, if you're going through hell, keep going. And that's what drove me on. He also said, remember he said, there was a woman, he was in the House of Commons, drunk. And there was a lady who was an MP for Liverpool, quite unattractive. The lady, not Liverpool. And she pointed out that the honourable member for so-and-so, Winston Churchill, was drunk. And so he had to stand up and answer her. So he said, Madam, I am indeed drunk, and you are ugly. Tomorrow I will be sober. That's a direct quote from Winston Churchill.
So Michael, is there a role that could tempt you back into the theatre?
No, you couldn't get me back into the theatre with a machine gun.
How about a lot of money?
But no, it's all that work done, man. No, what it was that if you thought of the theatre and movies as two women, if the theatre was a woman I loved and treated me like shit, and the movies are a beautiful mistress who I can do anything with.
All right, let's have one last question, or two, right? Two. All right, go on.
Just a quick one, thank you. It's a real honour to be sitting here and listening to you. You've worked and acted alongside, or worked for and acted alongside so many great actors and directors. Is there anyone left in Hollywood or someone that you still want to work with? Like, what's the ambition of Sir Michael Caine?
No, I've worked with everybody. I looked at there was a list on the computer of everybody I'd worked with, you know, and I thought, there's nobody I haven't worked with. I've done it all. I mean, all the great directors, John Huston, Joe Mankiewicz, Joe Losey, you take the list right down. I've done them all. The actors, unbelievable.
Have you appeared in Woody Allen film?
Yeah. Woody, yeah, and an assistant.
Oh yeah, for which you won an Oscar.
I did, yeah.
Two Oscars. All right, that's the last question. Better be a good one. Go on, who is it? No, not you. Right. The blonde lady, yes.
You were saying about working with very famous people, very well-known people. What's it like working with Kermit the Frog?
Working with who?
The Muppet Christmas Carol. Kermit the Frog.
It was fantastic. Because you were working with these wonderful people who were puppeteers, you know? And they weren't like actors, they were very, very secretive people, because they're always hiding, you know? People always say to me, have you ever sang on screen? I said, yeah, I sang on screen. They said, who with? I said, Kermit the Frog. I made that picture for Natasha, who was sitting there. She was 7 years old when I made it. And because she couldn't see Get Carter and Alfie and all that. So I made a movie for her. But it was a wonderful movie to work on because the people, you know, I'm not disparaging actors, but you know, actors are actors. But these are people, gentle people, you know. And I love the way they rehearsed. They used to sit in the corner and with no puppets, they'd just be going. And it looked like a madhouse. You know, all these people going. Anyway, I spoke up.
All right. Well, I'm afraid the hour is up. And now please, because there's so many of you, and we've got to go off to dinner. So after we thank Michael, I'm going to lead him off, and so there will be, unfortunately, no opportunity for selfie, but I'm sure that you've had enough for the last hour to have entertained yourself and amused yourself, and I really have to say that this is the best China exchange I've ever had. I've never laughed so much, and I'm sure I haven't heard so much laughter, and Michael Caine is an icon, a living legend, and somebody who really enhances our lives. So will you please join me in thanking